Thank you.
Thank you for joining our ambassador call. The call will be beginning at the top of the hour. Thank you for joining the Christine Jones ambassador call. The call will be beginning at 7 o'clock in about 30 seconds. Thank you for joining the Jones for Governor ambassador call. The call will be beginning at the top of the hour. Thank you for joining the Jones for Governor ambassador call. The call will begin in about an hour, or in about 15 seconds, at the top of the hour. Thank you for joining the Jones for Governor ambassador call. The call will begin right now.
Hello and welcome to the Jones for Governor ambassador call. This is so exciting. We are going to come together and make Arizona the brightest star in the country. And I want to first thank you for joining us. And while we're waiting for people to join the teleconference, I just want to review a few things. Christine has said, every politician talks about their volunteers. But if anyone's ever volunteered for a campaign, you know how they treat you. Politicians treat their volunteers as expendable. Now, Christine thinks different. See, she believes that her volunteers represent the most vital part of our campaign. You see, the governor's race is not about politicians. It's not about elected officials. It's not even about Christine. It's about the true leaders of this country. It's about you. Christine gets that. So these calls are designed to give our volunteers an inside look at what we're doing, and more importantly, to get your ideas about what's it going to take for us to win. So Christine said, let's figure out a way to get our volunteers engaged. And let's call them by their rightful name, ambassadors. So you on the call, you ambassadors, are Arizona's diplomatic agents, and you are of the highest rank. You represent the people that Christine wants to serve, and you should be treated accordingly. And when you get to know Christine, and I hope all of you will take a time to meet her over the next 48 days before the election, you will see what I mean. As an ambassador, we're going to ask you to do a few things. First of all, we want you to join these strategy calls that we're having twice a week. So these are invitation only. We want you to understand what is happening in the governor's race. We want you to be engaged. We want your ideas. Second of all, we want you to join us at our events. See, Christine travels all around the state, and we're going to share with you the locations of these events. And the more people we have at our events, the better. And of course, as an ambassador, you attend and your guests at no cost. Now, of course, some events are free. These town halls are free, so it would be free no matter what. But even the ones that cost, you attend and your guests for free. Next, we need you to get out there and spread the word with your friends and family. See, here's the thing. Arizonans, of the Arizonans who are going to vote, 45% of them are undecided on who to vote for. This is why we need you. And lastly, we want and need you to share your ideas with us. As we said, this is your election. We want your feedback. In the end, we're going to make Arizona the best place to live in the United States. Our children and grandchildren will tell the story of how we fought the good fight and won. So on that note, I give you Christine Jones. Christine, you're speaking to your ambassadors.
Hey, thank you so much. And thank you guys all for being on the call. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you being willing to get on board and support this outsider, non-establishment conservative message that we've been spreading all over the state. And really, there's a couple of things that I want you to know at the outset, and we're gonna give you some updates on the campaign, a little bit of an inside look at what's going on here, and then hopefully we can collect your thoughts on a couple of things as well. But where we are right now is that we're routinely listed as one of the top two candidates in this race. Every news story, every newspaper article, everything you see lists us as one of the top two candidates. And it's really interesting considering that when we filed our papers back in October, we were sort of sitting in dead last. And so it's one of the priorities for me doing these calls was just to say thank you to the ambassadors, to the people who've really spread the word, who've cared about Arizona just as much as I have and have really put themselves out there. So if you don't hear anything else I say on this call, please know I really appreciate that. It's a little bit of a strange place for me to sit because if you think about where I came from and my background, it wasn't so long ago that my husband and I were so poor that we were eating carrots. I don't know if I ever told you that story, but we ate nothing but carrots for 2 solid years because we just simply didn't have any money. So for that person to go from that seat to running for governor and actually being named as one of the top 2 candidates is really something to me. But I know, like most Arizonans, I started from a humble beginning and worked my way up, worked my way through college like most people did, and really have been so blessed and so successful, particularly since we've been in Arizona, and this opportunity to give something back is one of the great joys and privileges of my life. And one of the things that I hope the ambassadors hear and spread throughout the whole state is that I really want to return to this notion that we call this public service because it's about serving the public and not the other way around. So thanks so much for being here, and again, for what you're doing every single day to spread the word. And we're going to talk now about a couple of ways that you can get involved.
Thank you, Christine. The more and more you get to know Christine, the more and more you're going to love her. This is what happens. The people get to know her. They go to these events. They meet her. And you just realize that you want her to be our next governor. And this is what happens to me. That's why I'm engaged. Before we get into what's happening with the campaign, there's one more thing that I think is very important for all our ambassadors to understand. Christine threatens the political establishment because she's not beholden to anyone. She's the only Republican candidate running for governor that hasn't held office. These career politicians hate that, which is why she's being attacked in the media. So, Christine, from your point of view, tell us about that. Why is the establishment so against you?
Well, it's actually a really puzzling thing because I don't know that I've ever done anything to any of those people, to make them dislike our candidacy. But I think one of the things that really makes the establishment nervous is exactly what you said. I've never run for office before. I don't owe anybody anything. And it's probably been the single biggest strength I've had in this campaign, to just be able to travel all over the state to all 15 counties to hear from the incredible people of Arizona. What do they want in their next governor? And what would they like to see for the future of the state? And I don't have to worry about having a prior lobbyist pulling my strings or some special interest who donated to me in the past controlling me, because I don't really owe those people anything. And I think that's one of the principal reasons why we're so sort of antagonistic to the establishment. But I think it's also interesting that they come at this in such a mudslinging kind of a way. And now I knew this was a rough game getting into it, right? I knew once I put my face on television, I painted a target on my back and people were going to start taking shots at me. But what has surprised me a little bit is that people in the establishment just make stuff up. They just tell blatant lies. They put my face on television next to Hillary Clinton and say somehow that I'm friends with Hillary Clinton and nothing could be further from the truth, right? I can hardly think of somebody who would be a worse president than Hillary Clinton, and yet I see my face on TV next to hers, and that's really an odd thing. And of course, it doesn't hurt my feelings so much because I understood that that's what I was getting myself into, but I have friends and family, and they have feelings, and it hurts their feelings, and so that's been a little bit surprising. But even more so than surprising, it actually probably has exactly the opposite effect that the people who put those ads up wanted it to have. It actually motivates me to try harder, to work harder, to do better, and to achieve more, because I think the people of Arizona are entitled to have honest leadership who have integrity, who aren't willing to lie about their opponents, who stand up and speak the truth, who represent citizens, and who actually care about the future of the state and not their own political gain, not their own ego, not their own greed. And so the more I see those ads and the more I read lies about myself, the more motivated I get. And I think it's time for us in Arizona to take back our voice and to say we're not letting the establishment tell us who the next governor is going to be. We're going to pick our own governor. And I really feel that momentum as I travel around the state, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to do these calls so that I could get on a personal basis with the people who care about this campaign.
Okay, our last question. would you be interested in meeting Christine over the next 2 weeks by coming to one of our live events? Once again, would you be interested in meeting Christine by coming to one of our live events over the next 2 weeks? Press 1 if you'd be interested in attending and coming to meet Christine, and press 2 if you're not interested at this time. Once again, press 1 if you would be interested in meeting Christine over the next 2 weeks, and press 2 if you're not at this time. Thank you all for this great, great, great attention and feedback. This is going to help the campaign tremendously. So before I turn it over to Christine to say some final words, I just want to share with you about our VIP Ambassador program that we are creating. It's for ambassadors who really put a lot of work in for us. For example, when we see people on Facebook who are commenting like crazy, we notice it. When we see people who are bringing their friends to our ambassador program, it's noticeable. When we see people who are coming to our live events and talking us up, believe me, we notice and we will not forget. Internally, we call these people our VIP ambassadors. So for you people, when we win and Christine becomes the next governor of Arizona, we're going to have a private, invitation-only meet and greet for you in appreciation for you, the people she's serving. It's our way to say thank you. So Christine, what do you want to say to our ambassadors? Final words.
Yeah, well, first of all, we're going to be doing these calls on a regular basis, twice a week, and I hope people will join us, and we'll have a snippet of information to update them with each time. But the thing I would say going away from this, first of all, is thanks for being on the call. Thanks very much for your support, and I'm really excited about where we are in the polls. And these polls get more and more critical as the days go by. But as I started the call, I said, rather than being in sort of no-name recognition and dead last when we started this race, we're now routinely seeing polls where we're in first or second place, which is really energizing. But it's also very close, and this is going to come down to a very, very critical ballot. Every single vote matters. Every single person you talk to get out to the polls, to help get registered, to get on the early ballot list, every single one of them matters, because with this many candidates in the race, we have 2 statewide office holders, we have a mayor, we have people who are legitimate contenders. Every vote matters. So I just say continue to spread the good word, continue to put the yard signs out, the bumper stickers on your car, the sticker on your lapel. All of those things matter. Anytime you have a chance to tell somebody, I'm supporting Christine Jones for governor, it matters. And I say it all the time when I teach in church, what you say and what you do matters. This is a case where that's really true as well. So I just want to leave you with a couple final thoughts. One is I'm super excited about the future of the state. All of the incredible people we've met all over the state, the entrepreneurs, the small business owners, the retirees, all of these amazing people who love America and they love Americans and they really want the best for the future. I'm very hopeful, very excited, and very enthusiastic. And of course, we mentioned a little bit about our border security plan. Obviously, people can go to our website to read the fullness of that. I'd love to see the ambassadors out at these border security town halls. We're doing several more all over the state. And Sheriff Paul Bebu is very enthusiastic about this, and it's always fun for people to meet him too. But really, just thank you for being on our team. Thank you for being supportive. And whatever you do, vote, vote, vote. Just get people out to vote. That's the most important thing we can do right now. Every single vote matters. So thanks so much for being on the call, everybody.
Christine, thank you so much, and thank you for everybody who's on the call. Remember, our next call is this coming Saturday at 9 a.m. We're going to have 2 of these calls every week, Wednesday and Saturday every week, just to keep you informed. And on Saturday's call, we're going to talk about the results that we've seen over the last few days and give you more inside look of the campaign. And lastly, we want anyone who's on the phone right now, when we finish this call, it's going to go directly to a voicemail where you are going to be able to leave a private message for Christine. Please leave a message. Share with us your thoughts. Share with us what you're seeing in the media. Share with us your ideas, anything at all. We want to hear from you. So on behalf of Jones for Governor campaign, thank you, and make it a great night.